Hey, so quick update on what has been shipping lately because there's been a lot of functionality that's been added. One that you're probably already seeing or have already noticed is the member detail page or section, I should say, has been updated. So, as before, where it was just one long page with a lot of information on it, now it's broken out into individual subsections. And these subsections, are grouped by sort of theme here. And then on each of these tabs over here, all of these individual elements are still organized in the same manner that you're used to. There's also been a performance boost. You'll notice there's a refresh button up here. And so one of the problems that we had is in communicating with our payment processor, a lot of that stuff was happening, synchronously. So in the browser, so you would see the wait time. And that was adversely affecting, the performance of everything. And so now you'll notice that some of this stuff gets handled in the back end, in which case you may notice a slight delay in terms of if you add, say, a new payment method, it may not show up immediately here. You may have to hit the refresh button. Typically, we're noticing it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for that to show up. But the point is that it's actually the same amount of time as it was previously. There's just, instead of the page loading and spinning and potential issues happening there, instead the server's handling that in the background and then updating the front end. Additionally, on the customer side, you can now update your waivers and sign waivers and agreements directly in the app. We'll have videos specifically to that and show that functionality. But before, an individual may try to access a door or book a class from the app without having signed their waivers, and there was very little transparency in that. It would still not allow them to access the door or sign up for classes without having signed the waivers. But now there's a bit more transparency in that. And again, individual customers can manage their waivers directly from the app. We've also been making a significant amount of updates to the CRM functionality. And so you'll notice that now, for instance, we can bulk add members to a CRM pipeline, for instance, member retention. We can set a status as new. And then if we come back over here to prospect CRM, we go to member retention, we can see that, we have our individuals here. And so this lets you break down if you have sponsors that you're working with, if you have potential new sales that you're working with, and then also if you have existing members and you want to make sure that you're retaining those and that they're feeling heard, and if they have any issues that those are getting resolved, you can do that directly from the CRM here. And you can, track their status. You can update the statuses. You can, change, make new statuses and get reports on that information. So it allows you to have, a significantly better finger on the pulse of your members, both, potentially new members, existing members, and then also, you can create your own pipelines. And so if there's, let's say, corporate accounts that you're seeking and you want to handle those a little bit differently, you can track as you're nurturing those potential leads and as they eventually get converted. Also, there's been a range of updates to sort of make things easier for you as the user. Now, merging accounts is significantly easier. Unfortunately, we see this a lot. People, their payment goes bad or they forget their password. And even though there's a very robust forgot password functionality and it's very easy to get in there and edit things, people love to sign up under new emails or somehow try to get around and create a new account. Now it's easier now more than ever in terms of you can just select whatever duplicate accounts, hit the merge account, and that will merge any past purchases, check-ins, all that information. And so that way you still have the data, and then the customer can still use whatever account they've just created. And then lastly, on the automation side, we have introduced this new trigger functionality that's currently in open beta. And so this allows you to set stuff up so that, for instance, on an invalid door scan, you can go ahead and email either the customer that had an invalid door scan or yourself. and you can, or a custom email address, or you can have that say, it can either be an alert to you or your staff. It could be a potential upsell opportunity to the user and say, hey, we noticed that you're trying to access our 24-hour facility. You don't currently have that in your plan. Click here for more information on how to update. Additionally, you can have stuff here where, let's say we're running this on a daily schedule. We can go ahead and check to see when their last check-in was, how engaged they are, various things. The last check-in is probably the easiest one to sort of conceptualize. And so you can think of like, hey, if somebody hasn't checked in 14 days, let's go ahead and send them a little tickler email. Say, hey, how you been? We missed you, that kind of information. And so again, this sort of just gives you more opportunity to work on that retention, also to diagnose potential issues, customer outreach, that sort of thing. And so again, this entire release here has just been mostly, quality of life, making things easier, boosting automation, sort of taking again the burden of running the membership business out of your hands and making it easier for you to sort of do this brass tacks functionality. So yeah, happy to make any changes or adjustments. If any of you guys see any issues or you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you very much for using Managed Memberships.